I know Michael pretty well, and and we've talked about things like that. But I don't think there's any question that if you're a great player, and certainly I'm not sure we've seen a player like him in my lifetime because of his impressive play on both ends of the court. He was arguably, well, I don't think he arguably, he was the best offensive player and the best defensive player in the league. We haven't seen that before. And but the competitive nature of Michael was just unique. And if there's someone that was sort of a challenge to him in terms of, talking about the best player in the league, um, he was going to prove that that wasn't the case. And also he was going to lead his team. He was just a fierce competitor, but physically, I'm not sure we've seen a package like that. The quickness, the lateral quickness, the vertical, the running, gigantic hands, being able to do things in the air that we see we haven't really seen anyone do like him.
Do you think LeBron James is up there with the greatest players of all time?
Yes. I will, depends on how you see, because according to the position that he plays, I don't, when people start comparing him with Jordan, then that's not a fair comparison. Because, Jordan is far more superior player and a very, very tough league and very, very, very creative.
Sure.
I mean, that's not taking anything away from LeBron James because he's a great player. But it's not a fair comparison because I think Jordan is much far superior player.
Michael Jordan is like, for basketball for me, he's the end-all be-all. Like, he's the best player I've ever seen. I believe he's the best player I'll ever see. I believe he'll be the best player a million years from now. I really believe that. I believe he is the best ever.
And what do you think about him? Like, what, if you had to sum it up? Because I try to explain it to my wife. I
Right.
didn't never see him play.
Right. Well, put it like this. Invest point this out to me. Michael Jordan is so good that when somebody else is the top of the top, the great in their sport, they'll say David Beckham is the Michael Jordan of soccer.
No, man. Then Kobe, then Braun. Braun is the best all-around player we've ever seen, but he hasn't passed Kobe or Jordan, my opinion. But I played.
What do you think Jordan will average? Where do you think he would fit in?
He can adapt his game to anything. He would fit in as the best player in the league. Like, that's what he would be. And, I feel like he'll have more possessions to do more things, but there's also more athleticism in his game, and there's more length in his game, but, it's also more space for MJ to go to work. So, I mean, we'll never know, but for sure, I mean, he's a masterful basketball player. Like we've been saying, his skill level is unmatched. So, of course, he'll do numbers in this league today.
There are people who are born not just to play a sport, but to redefine it entirely. Michael Jordan is one of the very few. When you hear someone say, David Beckham is the Michael Jordan of soccer, or Tiger Woods is the Michael Jordan of golf, that isn't just a casual comparison. It's a declaration that the name Jordan has transcended basketball itself, becoming the universal language of greatness whenever humanity needs to describe the absolute pinnacle. Think about it. How many athletes in the history of mankind have turned their very name into the standard of comparison for every other sport? Only one, and that one is Michael Jordan. That is the mark that no one else possesses. Jordan didn't just conquer the NBA, he transformed himself into a global benchmark. A tennis legend may win 20 Grand Slams. A football icon may collect 5 Ballon d'Ors, but when the world wants to express that they have touched the mountaintop of greatness, they all reach for the same phrase: he's the Michael Jordan of his sport. And this is what separates Jordan from every other legend, including LeBron James. LeBron may be great, may extend his career across 2 decades, may even pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the all-time leading scorer. But LeBron is not the measure. He is the one being measured against Jordan, and that fact alone already confirms Jordan's absolute position at the summit. Ask yourself, have you ever heard anyone say, Jordan is the LeBron James of basketball? Never. And you never will. Because even in language, Jordan has become the root, the original, the Everest. Everyone who comes after him can only be branches, imitators, inheritors, but never the standard itself. Michael Jordan is not just a basketball player. He is the Everest of the game, and ever since he stepped into the NBA, every single path to greatness from Kobe Bryant to LeBron James to Stephen Curry has had no choice but to look upward toward that mountain. This is where we begin, a journey not only through numbers and shots, but through the total package, the skills, the mentality, the legacy, and the fear that Michael Jordan carved into an entire generation. And in the end, we will see. Jordan is not just the greatest. He is the unchanging measure of greatness itself. The body and the superhuman skill set. When we talk about Michael Jordan, too many people reduce him to one dimension, the greatest scorer. But those who only see points on the scoreboard miss the essence of what made him so unstoppable. Jordan was not simply an offensive machine, he was the perfect storm of body, skill, and instinct. He was the prototype every player since has tried and failed to replicate. Start with the body. Jordan wasn't just athletic, he was otherworldly. A 6'6" frame with a wingspan stretching beyond his listed height. Hands so massive he could palm the ball like a grapefruit, hang in the air while others dropped, change direction mid-flight, and release a shot when defenders thought gravity would finally pull him down. They called it hang time, but it was more than a nickname. It was physics bowing to his will. Combine that with speed and explosiveness. Jordan wasn't just quick, he was sudden. One step, and defenders were gone. A single burst, and he was above the rim before anyone could react. His first step was a death sentence, his second step a coffin lid slamming shut. Defenders could only guess, and guessing against Jordan was already defeat. But raw athleticism alone doesn't create a GOAT. What made Jordan terrifying was how he married his physical gifts with surgical skill. His footwork sharp, disciplined, perfected through hours of sweat, was a clinic that Kobe Bryant later studied frame by frame. His mid-range game became a weapon so polished, it was virtually unguardable. His post-up skills turned mismatches into slaughter. His ball handling wasn't flashy, but it was lethal efficiency. Every dribble had a purpose. Every move was a blade. And let's not forget the hands. Those enormous hands gave him an extra dimension no one could prepare for. He could fake passes with one hand, control the ball in traffic, switch angles in mid-air. In an era filled with giants, it was Jordan's hands paired with his mind that turned chaos into control. Now place this against LeBron James. Yes, LeBron is bigger, stronger, a freight train at 6'9", 260 pounds. But size isn't everything. Jordan combined elite athleticism with grace and finesse in ways LeBron has never matched. LeBron can bulldoze through opponents, but Jordan could glide past them, over them, and around them while making it look effortless. Jordan's game was a paradox, violent in impact, yet elegant in execution, explosive yet controlled, a force of nature wrapped in artistry. And it wasn't just offense. Those same gifts made him one of the greatest defenders in history. Quick feet, explosive recovery, massive hands disrupting passing lanes, leaping ability turning blocked shots into fast breaks. That is why Jordan wasn't just the greatest scorer. He was the most complete physical package the game had ever seen. Speed, strength, agility, elevation, coordination, and above all, mastery of how to weaponize them. He wasn't simply blessed, he engineered his body into a machine, every detail sharpened for war. When you watched Jordan, you weren't just watching a basketball player, you were watching evolution fast-forwarded. A superhuman dressed in number 23, the competitive spirit, and the alpha gene. Talent can take you far. Skills can win you games. But what separated Michael Jordan from every other great player wasn't just his talent, it was his DNA. His killer instinct, his alpha gene, his refusal to ever be second best. Jordan wasn't satisfied with being in the conversation. He wanted to end the conversation. Every time someone dared to mention another player as the best, he took it personally. If there was even a whisper that someone might be superior, Jordan turned it into fuel, into fire, into destruction. This wasn't just competitiveness, it was obsession. B.J. Armstrong, his former teammate, once said Jordan's practices felt harder than real games. Why? Because Jordan had to dominate every possession, every drill, every play. Losing a scrimmage? Unacceptable. Missing free throws after practice? Run it again. Someone on the team thinking they were the man that day? Jordan made sure they remembered who the alpha really was. And it wasn't just teammates. Ask Reggie Miller, who once trash-talked rookie Jordan, only to learn the most painful lesson of his career. never poked the bear. Jordan dropped 40 plus on him that same night, and Miller admitted it was the worst mistake he ever made. Ask Gary Payton, one of the greatest defenders ever, who confessed that even if he slowed Jordan down for a half, Jordan always figured him out, and once he did, it was over. This was Jordan's difference. He didn't just want to win, he wanted to crush you, to break your spirit, to make sure you never thought about challenging him again. That is the essence of the alpha gene. Contrast this with LeBron James. LeBron is great. He's brilliant. But his career shows moments of hesitation, passing in clutch situations, deferring to teammates, seeking reassurance. LeBron learned how to be an alpha in Miami, under Pat Riley, and alongside Dwyane Wade. And that's the difference. Jordan was born with it. From hitting the championship-winning shot as a freshman at North Carolina in 1982, to torching the NBA as a rookie, to winning 6 Finals MVPs, Jordan never had to learn how to lead. He simply was. And leadership isn't about smiling for the cameras. Jordan's leadership was brutal. He demanded everything from his teammates, often pushing them to the edge. Some broke under the pressure. Others became champions. Steve Kerr, who once literally fought Jordan in practice, admitted, "That was the turning point. I earned his respect. And once you had that, he lifted you to his level." That's what the alpha gene does. It doesn't just dominate, it transforms those around it. Jordan's obsession infected the locker room. His fire set the standard. His hunger became contagious. And it's why his teams didn't just win, they became dynasties. This is why Jordan stands apart. Plenty of players had talent, plenty had stats, but very few had the mentality, the unshakable, merciless mindset of an apex predator. Jordan didn't want to beat you. He wanted to bury you. And then he wanted to bury the memory of you daring to challenge him. That's not just greatness. That's inevitability. That's the alpha gene. Jordan, in the era of iron and blood, the NBA of the 1,980 seconds and 1,990 seconds was not today's NBA. It was a battlefield. Elbows flew, forearms dug into ribs, fists sometimes landed before referees even reacted. There were no freedom of movement rules, no flagrant fouls for hard contact. Back then, if you drove into the paint, you had better be ready to bleed. And into this furnace walked Michael Jordan. The Detroit Pistons built an entire defensive scheme called the Jordan Rules, with one purpose: stop him, hurt him, break him. They didn't just guard Jordan, they attacked him. Clotheslines, hip checks, takedowns. Every time he rose toward the rim, bodies were waiting to slam him to the floor. Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, Dennis Rodman, professional enforcers who treated the paint like a minefield. Most players would have cracked. Most players did crack. Jordan? He absorbed it, transformed his body, lifted weights relentlessly, added muscle, and came back every year stronger. Instead of backing down, he doubled down. The punishment forged his armor. By the early 90 seconds, the Pistons' blows no longer broke him, they ignited him. And once he broke through Detroit, their dynasty was dead. But it wasn't just the Pistons. To reach the top, Jordan had to climb over dynasties. The Boston Celtics of Bird, McHale, and Parrish, 5 Hall of Famers, stacked on one roster. The Showtime Lakers of Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a dynasty that owned the 1,980 seconds. The Knicks, Pacers, Cavs, all teams that played bruising, suffocating defense every single night. Jordan didn't dominate in a vacuum. He conquered in the most brutal, unforgiving era of basketball, when hand-checking was legal, when defenders could grab your jersey, shove you off your spot, and hammer you without fear of ejection. Now compare that to LeBron James's era. For most of LeBron's prime, the Eastern Conference was mockingly called the Leastern Conference. His path to the finals often went through undermanned squads, the Raptors, the Hawks, the Pacers. When he reached true dynasties, the Spurs, the Warriors, his record was scarred with defeat. 4 wins, 6 losses in the finals. Greatness, yes, but not perfection. Jordan? He faced dynasties and he ended them. Magic's Lakers? Gone. The Bad Boy Pistons? Gone. Barkley's Suns, Peyton's Sonics, Stockton and Malone's Jazz, all challengers turned into stepping stones. He didn't just beat teams, he closed the book on entire eras. This is the crucible that defined Jordan. He didn't rack up stats against soft defenses or favorable rules. He carved his legacy in an age of iron and blood, where every possession was war. And still, he emerged untouchable. 6 finals, 6 victories, 6 finals MVPs. That's why when people bring up longevity as LeBron's advantage, it falls flat. Because what Jordan did in his era wasn't just winning, it was survival at the highest possible cost. And not just survival, but domination. Greatness isn't about how long you last. It's about what you do when the game is at its toughest. And Jordan proved it in the harshest era the sport has ever known, defining the two-way player. If you strip away all of Jordan's points, the scoring titles, the highlight dunks, what remains is still enough to terrify any opponent. Because Michael Jordan was not just an offensive genius, he was one of the greatest defensive weapons the game has ever seen. 9 times. Let that sink in. 9 times he was selected to the NBA's all-defensive first team. That's not a coincidence. That's not reputation. That's a decade of locking down the league's best guards and wings. It's a record he shares with only 3 others: Gary Payton, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Garnett. But none of them carried the same offensive load as Jordan, while being that suffocating on defense. The numbers are staggering. 3rd, all-time in career steals per game. 4th, all-time in total steals. The most blocked shots by a guard in NBA history. Think about that. Blocks are the stat of giants, of centers and forwards who live in the paint. Yet Jordan, a shooting guard, rewrote that narrative. And if raw stats aren't enough, look at advanced metrics, defensive win shares, a category dominated by big men who controlled the rim. Among the top 30 players all time, only 3 guards appear. Michael Jordan is one of them. Ranked 21st overall, 3rd among guards behind John Stockton and Jason Kidd, who played hundreds more games than he did. Jordan did in fewer games what others couldn't achieve in entire careers. But the numbers only tell half the story. His peers told the rest. B.J. Armstrong once said, "In my mind, Michael was actually a defensive player who also happened to be an exceptionally talented offensive player." Christian Lettner echoed it decades later. "My first and lasting impression of Jordan was the effort he put on the defensive end." Michael Jordan was the greatest defender also. This wasn't accidental. In 1988, Jordan won the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award. A shooting guard, leading his team not only in steals but also in blocks, becoming their most valuable rim protector and their best perimeter stopper. Do you understand how rare that is? Guards aren't supposed to anchor defenses. Jordan did it anyway. And it wasn't just effort, it was terror. Opponents knew that even if they managed to get by their man, Jordan lurked like a shadow. Passing lanes weren't safe. Crossovers weren't safe. Layups weren't safe. He turned defense into offense, converting steals and blocks into momentum-shifting buckets. This is why Jordan wasn't just the greatest scorer. He was the greatest two-way player in basketball history. Others specialized. Jordan mastered it all. He didn't choose between offense and defense. He demanded excellence on both ends, and he delivered. LeBron James, for all his versatility, never earned a Defensive Player of the Year award. He was respected defensively, yes, but never feared in the way Jordan was. Because respect is admiration. Fear is inevitability. Jordan's defense wasn't optional. It was inescapable. That's what made him different. He didn't just beat you by scoring more points. He suffocated you, stole your soul, and made sure you couldn't even breathe. Jordan wasn't only the greatest scorer. He was the apex predator of two-way basketball. The final conclusion. The immortal standard. Greatness isn't just about what you do in your prime. It's about how you adapt when the years weigh heavy and the body slows down. Michael Jordan showed us that too. Early in his career, he was an athletic hurricane, blowing past defenders, soaring over giants, dunking with fury. But as the years went on, when gravity tugged harder, he reinvented himself. The fadeaway jumper, smooth, deadly, impossible to guard, became his new weapon. A single pivot, a rise, and a release. Defenders smothered him, hands in his face, and it didn't matter. The ball dropped through the net again and again. Jordan didn't just age, he evolved. From explosive phenom to cold-blooded assassin, he proved that the truly great don't decline, they transform. And that's why, if Jordan played in today's NBA, with modern spacing, three-point obsession, and defensive restrictions, he wouldn't just fit in, he would dominate. The same instinct, the same adaptability, the same obsession with winning, would make him the best player in any era. yesterday, today, tomorrow. Then there's the comparisons Kobe and LeBron. Kobe Bryant, the closest replica, studied Jordan like scripture. Every move, every step, every fadeaway was borrowed from the master. And yet, even Kobe admitted, "What you get from me, you got from him." Kobe was the echo. Jordan was the original. LeBron James, the modern giant, built a resume of longevity. 20-plus years, multiple championships, broken records. But when you peel back the numbers, you find cracks. 6 finals losses, moments of hesitation, a career defined by almosts. He is respected, admired, even revered. But Jordan was feared. Fear is a currency LeBron has never held. Respect makes you beloved. Fear makes you inevitable. Jordan didn't just win. He ended dynasties. Magic's Lakers, Bird's Celtics, the Bad Boy Pistons, Stockton and Malone's Jazz all fell at his feet. He didn't survive the toughest era in basketball, he conquered it, and the impact reached far beyond the court. Air Jordan sneakers turned athletes into global brands. The 1,992 Dream Team, with Jordan as its face, transformed basketball into a worldwide phenomenon. The Jumpman logo still stands as one of the most recognized symbols on Earth. He didn't just change a game, he changed culture itself. But perhaps the most haunting testament to Jordan's greatness is this: his enemies still speak his name with bitterness, while his peers bow their heads in reverence. Bill Laimbeer dismisses him out of jealousy. But Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, all men who lost to him, admit without hesitation, Michael Jordan was the greatest they ever faced. That's how you know you've transcended sport, when those who hated you most cannot deny you, when those who fought you hardest end up praising you, when decades later, the debates still begin with your name. No one asks, is Jordan better than LeBron? They ask, is LeBron better than Jordan? Do you see the difference? Jordan isn't a contestant in the debate, he is the debate. He is the starting point, the immovable reference, the Everest every other climber must be measured against. And that is the truth. Michael Jordan was not just a scorer, not just a champion, not just a cultural icon. He was, and remains, the most complete package of greatness in sports history. Talent, mentality, adaptability, dominance, fear, and legacy, all in one man. That is why when you strip away the points, the highlights, the numbers, his case only grows stronger. Because Jordan is not just in the conversation, Jordan is the conversation. He isn't simply the GOAT. He is the immortal standard,